All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hakeem here, the success scholar here, best-selling author. I'm here to discuss today some amazing book that I'm like halfway through, and I just couldn't go through all of it without giving a review. And it really, has inspired me to really think bigger and broader uh, from where I have been and allow for me to actually understand the world a little bit more properly. So the particular book that I'm speaking of is called The Four: The Hidden DNA of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. Now, of course, you all know that I tend to look for different pieces and just to try to capture various unique, insightful books that are transformational, empowering. Good morning, Aisha. And really books that I believe individuals who are in positions should certainly be aware of. And not everyone will be able to read these books. So I just thought that it's my duty. I was advised some time ago that I should do book reviews on some of my books. And I do have one actually where I did Dr. Randall Pickett, I believe Mike Roberts, and Don Peebles. So I did a more elaborate. I'm not going to do an elaborate breakdown of this particular book, but just these particular companies have transformed the planet forever. Actually, just in this context of how people live and how people think about goods and services and communications and uh, film, movies, music, everything. Uh, did I add Google on there? Yes, Google as well. Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. Yeah. So let me just kind of browse a little bit and read. Actually, let me read Seth Goodwin, a provocative. Let me read some of the reviews first. Strategic look at the way a few companies are remaking the world right before our eyes, but far below the radar. You might be disturbed by what you discover, but it's better to know than to know now than later. Uh, so that's an interesting review. But let me read some of the inside of the book. For all that's been written about the four over the last decades, no one has captured their power and staggering success as insightful as Scott Galloway. Instead of buying the myths these companies have broadcast, Galloway asked fundamental questions. How did the four infiltrate our lives so completely that they're almost impossible to avoid or boycott? Why does the stock market forgive them for the sins that will destroy other firms? And I'll just elaborate on that. For instance, there was the chapter in here about Apple and unlocking uh, computers. I'm sorry, unlocking, shall I say, terrorists or individuals' phones. And Apple actually did not decided not to unlock the phones. And the question was raised, well, what if, for instance, you had a car or a company that the terrorists were in the back seat of a car, automobile car, and would the auto manufacturers actually say, no, I'm not going to open this car? So that was the conversation because there was an investigation, I believe, in one of the terrorists, the shootings or something that Apple. Many of you already wear this, but they didn't want to unlock the phone. I don't know what the ramifications or the eventual, what eventually happened with that, but that's that was the question about would these companies, would these firms be destroyed, and would people forgive these actual companies? And as the race to become the world's first $1 trillion company uh, goes on, can anyone challenge them? That was the question, and they mentioned several other companies that position, uh, and I'll, like Netflix. They mentioned Netflix is one, and I think the China company Alibaba as well. That's a, I guess that might be a search engine. I'm not sure. I have to look that up. Somebody know what that Chinese company Alibaba is. So I'm not as up on that, but it was very very interesting. And it says in the same irrelevant style that has made him one of the world's celebrated business professors, Galloway deconstructed strategies of the four that lurk beneath their shiny veneers. So it talks about some of their strategies that they utilize, and man, it's deep. It's really go back into the balance out between the online commerce strategies as well as the brick and mortar. And sometimes I know a lot of people will say things about click and order versus brick and mortar. I know you've heard that said before, but some companies, that's not like always true. Like they're not totally out of the business per se of having physical stores. So and this kind of made this a little bit clearer. So when people are speaking and advising individuals strictly online, or I mean, of course, I believe you have to have some online content, but again, people still do go and shop and do things. It's not a total world where individuals don't go. And we know there's Apple stores everywhere, and so there was a strategy behind that. And I didn't, we didn't. I didn't realize it, until I don't necessarily go to Apple store. It made me think that I need to go now to learn a little bit more about the phone that I've been using for the past 4 or 5 years. But one other point was that I didn't actually think of the iPhone as a luxury product. That it says something about 1% of the planet can afford 1% of the planet, or 1% of the population. I don't know if they were talking about the United States or the planet, but can afford an iPhone. I didn't even think about that. Sometimes we take things for granted without realizing, where we are. Just it's like an iPhone. Like really, that's considered a luxury to some people, some places. So all right, so then it says if you want to compete with them, do business with them, or simply live in the world they dominate, you need to understand the four. And I realized, some time ago that however we feel, we need to maximize on the benefits of that. And it's going to take some serious, conscious organizers to think how these I ain't gonna call them monopolies, but in some aspects they monopolize their space. But these uh, entities are transforming the world, and how you have to position some of your knowledge, some of your skills to leverage the assets and the talents that they've made it for wealth builders, for businesses to reach their markets. So let me just browse through some of the chapters. I'm not going to get too far into it. That's just some of my little inputs. But you talk about who are these companies and why write about them. How Amazon became the most disruptive firm in the largest economy. And I talk about retail economy. And I know sometimes you hear things that you got to be a disruptor. Yeah. So Amazon is the first company they talk about. Then Apple. Then Facebook, Google. And I'm where am I? I think I'm somewhere like here. Lie to me, the four and the funny business. And again, I'm not going to be long here. Business and the body. This is wait a minute. Let me go back. Yeah. business and the body. All businesses appeal to one of three organs. That's going to be interesting. So they and it's a good interesting breakdown. Um, the T algorithm, what it takes to get to a trillion. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then it said the fifth horseman, who's going to be next? And this is the one where, let me go, because I think I jumped forward and read a little bit. Who's going to be the fifth horseman? Yeah, they talk about Alibaba. That's what it's called, Alibaba, and then Tesla. Interesting. Okay, they talk about Tesla. And there's actually a documentary on Tesla on Netflix. I should have watched it last night instead of watching what I watch. Uber. They talk about Uber, and where's the other one? What else? Walmart. Well, they still talk about Walmart, and there's some parts in here about the relevance of Walmart and how Amazon was taking various shares from uh, from Walmart and market share. Microsoft is another one. Airbnb, interesting. IBM, Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, Time Warner. So okay, interesting. And I thought I saw something. Oh wait a minute. I thought I saw something about Netflix somewhere. So maybe that's somewhere in here. But well, let me go back. But I just want to say this really opened up my mind in terms of where I was going. Is sometimes you gotta. I don't encourage people now to read broadly for the sake of just reading. You have to read with a purpose and intent, and yes, you have to continue to educate yourself consistently. Uh, but you gotta read towards the future, shall I say. I mean, after you center yourself and understand history and understand your current condition, but positioning oneself with knowing what's going to be happening in the future, is the way to go. So I just wanted to mention those books. It's Scott Galloway. You may be able to get it on. I'm sorry, not Ustream, but I'm going to Google his name and look up some of his other maybe he does, a discussion on this somewhere. But it's called the hidden DNA of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. So, um, with that being said, I'm looking for individuals to, some web designers, some e-commerce experts, and some social media experts. Progress is being made. Had a good, awesome meeting yesterday. So, meeting with some of the most powerful people in the state of Maryland. So I'm really happy for that and have radio interview today. But progress is absolutely being made. Looking forward to making progress and going to another level. So definitely check that out and go to my website, Success Scholar, HAKI.com. Get my products as well. Follow me on Instagram, Success Scholar, and Success Scholar One on Twitter. Holla at the Success Scholar. I am out. Peace and blessings, y'all.